like,
initially we figured one person reviewing it is sufficient. Well, I guess it's not. So now we have to have two people review it.
right. So like you were the one who like instituted this, right? You were this one who said like the supervisor should review this thing as well, right? As an additional safeguard.
Yes,
Right.
that's correct.
Okay. Any other similar issues?
You know, not that I would want to talk about. I think that was the biggest one. And now, I've been with the company for 11 years. That's the first time that we've ever experienced an issue of check fraud.
Right. Okay.
Because one of the first things I did when we consolidated all of our banking relationships was institute positive pay, so that we would not have instances of check fraud. This was merely a situation of somebody didn't follow a policy and procedure, and so you have to hold them accountable. That's what it comes down to.
Right. Could you talk about this instituting positive pay bit? Like, what were the challenges involved here? The the strategy that you used and the result of it.
So I think the challenges is obtaining information regarding the fraudulent items. We have a copy of the check, but then you have to get a copy from the bank. You have to review it, and you have to compare it to what our system says. There's a challenge. What was the next one? The strategy.
This is with regards to instituting that positive. Hello, Chris?
Oh, you know what? Instituting the policy of a second review. I wouldn't say there was any challenge or strategy. I think it was more of a suggestion to further safeguard the company by having somebody review the reviewer. So I
understand that. I'm not talking about that. Like you just said that there was like very little instance of fraud because you instituted a system of a system called positive pay, right? So I was trying to ask you to elaborate upon that. Like back when the banking relationships were established. Yeah.
Okay.
So elaborate upon that. Yeah. The challenges, strategies, and results.
So the challenges there. So the strategy was, we need to make sure we minimize risk of check fraud, right?
Right. Okay.
So in order to do that, the challenges that we faced was dealing with the bank. You have to set up electronic reporting through the bank website. You're sending them a file that says, here are the checks that I wrote for these various companies that you can honor. The bank says the file needs to be in a certain format. So we then have to take that to our accounting platform provider, and they have to create a file. And so it's working with these different parties to make sure we get the bank the information they need in the format that they need it. So it's more logistics. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. It's dealing with the logistics of implementing a system. And I think the results, while I think the system has been very successful, because outside of this one incident where somebody didn't follow a policy and procedure, we haven't experienced an issue of check fraud in the 11 years I've worked for the company.
Right. So virtually
the only reason we had a $500,000 issue was because somebody didn't follow a policy. There was a human. There was a human error. There was a breakdown.
Right.
Okay, but because of the systems that I've implemented, we haven't had issues of check fraud.
Right. And by the way, could you elaborate about this positive pay thing? Like, what is it exactly, essentially?
So like I said, every day we send the bank a file. Just it's an Excel file. It has 4 or 5 columns of data. It tells you what company wrote the check, what the check number is, who it was written to, and what the amount was.
Right.
You upload that on the bank website, and the bank takes that file and they say, okay, we will cash these checks when they're presented.
Okay.
If there is an exception, if somebody tries to cash a check that isn't on the list, the bank will send us a note through their website or through their banking portal that says, hey, we received this item. Please review it and let me know if you need to approve it. So I have somebody that reviews those on a daily basis, and they decision those items. They say, yes, you can pay it, or no, you cannot. And they research every single one of those items.
Right. And
That's essentially the system. It's kind of like bouncing. It's almost like bouncing your checkbook.
Okay. So, like, I also researched a bit over here, and it also says that Positive Pay is something like an automated fraud detection tool. Is that the Excel file that you're talking about, where you send the numbers to be approved?
I had a little trouble understanding you. Can you repeat your question, please?
Yeah. Like, I just researched this Positive Pay, what is Positive Pay on Google. It says that it is an automated fraud detection tool offered by the cash management department of most banks. So, this is like an automated fraud detection system, right, that you've developed?
Yes, it is. It's automated to a point. So,
right.
Our accounting system creates a file automatically that says, here are the checks you cut. We send that to the bank. That's not automatic.
Right.
As the bank cashes checks, that's an automatic process because they take that file that we sent them and they load it into their system and say, you can cash these checks. But when there's an item that comes in to be cashed that's not on the list, that's a manual process of reviewing it and either denying it or approving it.
Right.
But for the most part, yeah, I would say it is an automated process. I didn't come up with the process. I implemented the process for our company. I implemented it.
Right. I understand. Okay. So, okay, you just said there were no other non-compliance issues, so let's move on. Is there any way in which, how shall I put it, like, you stayed up to date with like latest industrial trends and like incorporated those latest industrial trends in finance into your company?
Can you give me an example?
Like, say everyone is adopting some finance technology, some accounting software, some important accounting software that leverages machine learning technologies. So you implement that as well, and that helps like boost productivity and streamline operations to a degree. So, and automate processes. So is there anything like that?
So because our company is a private equity company, we have many entities. One of the issues we have is preparing consolidations on all of the activity of the company. One of the initiatives we have going on currently is we've purchased a consolidation software called MRI.
Okay.
And it's the same acronym as the medical scan, MRI. This is a I don't know, it's a program, or I'm not sure what you call it, but it takes financial information from our base accounting system. You input rules on how things are consolidated, and this system then consolidates it for you. So right now we're in the process of implementing that. Up to this point, we've done that all via Excel because our owners, they love Excel, but we've become too big and too cumbersome to continually do those types of things in Excel.
Right.
So we've had to move to something that's more system-based. And so right now we're in the process of implementing that system. And MRI is similar to Yardi. I don't know if you've heard of Yardi.
Yeah. It's like
So it's a
retail.
similar consolidation system to Yardi.
Right. So you initiated this like digital transformation. You were the one that told them to, like, let's move on from Excel to this new software.
I wasn't the one that initiated it, but I had somebody that works for me suggest it. I've sat in on the demonstrations. I realized that we had a need. I knew that we had a need for this, and I advocated to get the owners to agree to move forward with the project.
Right. You advocated for for this new technology.
Yes, I recognized there was a need, and then, it's all a group effort with myself and my team. So, but yeah, I would say I advocated for it.
Right. So is there anything else with regards to, like, new digital technologies and softwares and that you helped implement within your company to improve, like, finance operations?
Yeah, so probably 5 or 6 years ago, the fixed asset accounting system that the company was using was very outdated. And from speaking with our tax preparers, I was able to, how would you say it? I was able to view, I looked at several different depreciation programs and ultimately decided on a more up-to-date fixed asset program.
Right.
So there was a process of identifying or knowing that we had an issue with depreciation, which is the single largest tax deduction that our company has. Identifying a new product to use to calculate it, and then helping to implement and roll that new system out.
Right. And you were the one who identified this, right? Product.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Anything else that you'd like to mention here?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Let's move on.
Waleed, I do have a question for you. I noticed
Yeah.
that we're at the end of our 90 minutes. I've got a call at 1 o'clock. Do we need to reschedule some more time?
I feel that we need to reschedule, like, I believe half an hour would do, if that works for you. Half an hour.
Okay.
1 hour just.
Let me see. Could we do it at 3 o'clock this afternoon?
How many hours from now is that?
It's 2.5 hours from now.
All right, 2.5 hours from now. Yeah, sure, we can do that.
Oh, we can?
Okay. Yeah, sure, we can do that.
Okay.
I can.
Okay. All right. If you can,
right.
Can you send me an appointment reminder for 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 Pacific?
Right. All right. Okay.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention the name. This fixed asset program that we moved to was called CCH Fixed Asset Manager.
Right. Okay. So CCH Fixed Asset Manager. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you'd like to mention? I suppose your time is up, so we should conclude this
Not right now. I think
right.
now that
Okay.
I've spoken to you for a little while, maybe just taking a break here also let me gather my thoughts and then we can
Oh,
finish things up and maybe be a little more productive. Because
right, right,
again,
right.
I haven't done this I haven't sat in I haven't been interviewed or done
Mhm.
anything like this in over 10 years. So I'm relearning things.
Oh, I can understand. That's not an issue. All right. Is all right. So best of luck for that call that you have, and I'll like meet you, like call you again in 2.5 hours. Okay. I'll send you the appointment
Okay.
reminders. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Bye
And
bye.
I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you at 3 then. Thank you, Waleed.
Okay. You're welcome. Bye.
All right. Bye bye.